Today I'm filming a sculpture in Tucson, Arizona. It's near the corner of 3rd Avenue and Grant. And I'm going to run through the questions from the handout to show you how to critique a piece of art. So, this is a massive sculpture. It's got to be about 20 feet high. It's made out of aluminum slats. The artist, or artists, are Ben Olmstead and Simon Donovan. This little tiny plaque is about a foot across and a foot tall. One of the cool things about this sculpture is that it's made out of slats of aluminum that look almost transparent from different angles. So, I've already given the place where it is. It was installed in 2017. As I said, the height, kind of hard to tell, but it's on a base that's probably 8 feet, 9 feet high. The statue itself is probably another 10 feet higher than that. I've taken a bunch of pictures of it, but I also wanted to do a video as an option. So, it's made out of what looks like aluminum. You can kind of see the silhouettes. So they did a three-dimensional sculpture, but then they cut them into strips or slats of metal. And then you can kind of see from one of these angles how they're connected. So if you look right in here in the midsection, you can see that they're connected with bolts or welded or something to one another, making the form. So to analyze this using terminology from the elements art and principles of design, what shapes, forms, textures, lights, darkness, bright, etc. colors are there? And is there an actual texture or is it implied? Well, the coolest thing about this is that the form looks to be three-dimensional. Well, it is three-dimensional, but it's not solid three-dimensional. You can see from the one on the back side over there, as I'm looking through him or her, I guess it's a him, that he appears to be transparent, but it's kind of an optical illusion because it is a solid shape, again, just made up of these different slats of metal. The metal looks to be about 1/4 of an inch thick and joined again by bolts or some type of weld. They look to be actually very heavy from the side, and in fact the material itself is probably very heavy. If you were to weigh one of them, I would have to guess each one of them is probably 400 or 500 pounds, just because it's aluminum. But when you get to a certain point like here, they look very light. So what does this piece mean to you? Well, I looked at the website, or a website that described the thinking behind it, and the 5 figures, 3 women and 2 men, 3 women and 2 men are holding hands back to back and leaning forward away from one another, and their unity is enabling them to support each other from falling over. So I think that the artist, with that description, does seem to convey that, communicate that pretty well. They're supporting each other, but they're all individuals, and they almost seem to be protesting something. 2 of the figures, from this side anyway, appear to be yelling or screaming, where the two women on either side of this figure, actually their heads are down and their mouths are closed, so not sure what the point of that one is, but I'll do more research on that later. Judgment. What do you like or dislike about the piece? Try to do constructive criticism, as well as, if I were the artist, what would I change about it? Well, I think it's safe to say I wouldn't change anything about this, except possibly making it a little bit shorter so that I could get a closer view of it. If I had a telephoto lens, I could get a little bit closer. How would I personalize it? Maybe painting the figures different colors, rainbow colors or something. Not quite sure what the best way to do that is. Let me see if I can get around and see if there's an expression on this fifth character's face. So this person's actually looking down also. So only two of the characters, that one there and the lady on the other side, actually have their mouths open like they're screaming or yelling at something or shouting. Overall, it's a really cool piece. I think it's one of my favorite pieces in Tucson that I've stopped and taken photos of before, and also doing this video report. So that's my report.